Hey folks, just doing a quick check-in this morning because I wanted to keep going with this kind of theme and vein I was touching on there of just sharing raw, authentic feeling in the moment. I think if all of us started doing that more and more and started supporting each other when we do that, that from the inside out will really be what shifts the world. So I'm going to keep going in that vein and even share when I don't feel like being social, being on camera, focusing, you know, being worried about my own personal hangups. You know, we all have them, come with being part of culture and society. And it's like there's a fine point where does respecting each other stop and stuffing our feelings begin, So that's a really important thing to think about. And I think everybody, like, if you're feeling more and more the urge to align with your authenticity and you're worried about people's reactions, that's one of the biggest things I would suggest letting go of. Some people ain't gonna like it. They ain't gonna like it. Oh well, you know what I mean? We have to start holding space for each other to go beyond that. I guess that's kind of what I'm touching on in general this morning. Just kind of wanted to check in and it feels like confirmation, like everything I said, the energy updates leading up to the eclipse and leading up to the Lion's Gate, it all seems pretty in alignment with what I'm experiencing now. And other people that have been expanding my understanding with their synchronicities have shared some very pertinent information that does seem to be coming to fruition with the energies. So, and it was hitting me yesterday. I wanted to touch on that. This is a thing, is the more and more we stop giving in to our fears and start being in alignment with our authenticity, the more fears are going to get up to try and shut us down. That's how this works. It's funny, that's how duality kind of works in a way. Our emotional blockages are our limit points to our freedom, to our mental and emotional freedom that we put upon ourselves rightly in reaction to the world we were faced with as innocent children. It's a whole thing, right? That has a purpose, but it's time to undo it and start shifting the other way now. So I guess I just kind of maybe wanted to send some calming energy for you all there this morning and let everybody know out there, let's all be honest with each other because we're not alone. And the more and more we stick to our truths, the more and more aspects of our ego that still need released, that are still holding blockages to our full abundance over us, are going to pipe up even louder. It's going to come to a culminating peak. That's why it's funny, because we're going to have to come from a place of love, but we're going to have to stand firm in our no to the fears that have been holding us back all this time, And they're going to shout louder and louder before this peaks. And on the other side is an ocean of cosmic bliss in a way. I mean, these are cycles, small cycles and big cycles we're going through all the time anyways. Things build up to a point of pressure and release. That's all life is, over and over and over again, pressure and release. Kind of like, I don't know if whoever's watching this might have seen this, but further back in my videos, I'm sharing some diagrams about the human toroidal field, our energy field. Everything has a toroidal field. Everything with consciousness has a toroidal field, right? And I was touching on how taking in energy and energy going back out in that motion creates more space. It's always creating more of itself. Reality is always copying itself, infinitely, basically, right? So, what was I touching on with that? That's pressure and release. It's it's funny. I've been learning so much lately, because all of our stuff, it's like, how far do you want to go down the rabbit hole? Because if you believe that we've been lied to about a lot of things, basically it's how would you say, mental manipulation. Basically, that would fall under the veil of black magic, but the world is kind of run by that at this point and has been for a very, very long time. That is the roots of our modern day psychology. So people treat it secularly nowadays, but these are still the principles that they've been working with. And so yeah, those things, it's like the more you increase your light, the more you increase your dark. That's why it's called duality. Both things will grow evenly opposed to each other, Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's what I was saying, right? The build up and release thing. It's like all of our cosmology has been twisted and we've been lied to about all of it. So, like, you say the universe is outside of you, some people will tell you everything is within you. The stuff that you perceive as outside of you is within you as well. the version you see outside of you is a reflection of your feelings towards those things. So on all levels, you think science is not a religion? Science is a religion. It's all based on theories anyways, for the most part. You know, there are certain concrete things that we've come to utilize and work with in our world. God, this is something I could go on and on about, and I wasn't planning on making a very long video. Anyways, I just wanted to touch on that. If you're feeling it, just know you're on the right track and be steadfast, like I'd said in my other videos. Before I really touched on, it was funny because it was in there, but it wasn't quite there, just how difficult some of this might actually feel when we're faced with it. Stand in your self-love, stand in your love of other, and just don't let them try and fool you and frighten you back into not being authentic anymore. That thought keeps popping up to me lately. This idea of our compassion for our fellows ends at our I didn't know exactly think of a good way to say that before I said it, but what's the thing I'm thinking of? Food and water and shelter. Food and water and shelter. Our compassion stops where our food and shelter and water are threatened, basically. So they say, you know, there's a limit where you're like, I'm sorry, but now I gotta look out for me. And it's true, like on an individual level, you have nothing to offer if you don't have your own needs met. The sad reality, and that's true too, is that's how they're controlling us. And the only way is for us to stand up together. We're the ones that make all this stuff. We make all this stuff, and they say you have to use our system, and it's best for you guys too, but it supports us. And if you start unplugging yourselves from it, you're not going to have anything, right? That's why there has to be a large amount of us to unplug from it all at once, because this is ours. This is us. This planet is our bodies. I don't care what you think it's like or whatever. It's true, you know. It is us, and they're standing between, saying, "You've got to support my rich, you know, family lineage that's been in this position for umpteen years, you know, however long." Because we've always provided this and disseminated things. They're even, like, they're setting up classes through this. They're telling you how much, you know, how much your worth is, you know? And it's like, that's up to you what your worth is, not up to somebody else. You know? Self-love. Choose self-love, everybody. Yeah, this will be a good one for today. And more too coming. Yeah, choose your self-love first. Even if it feels frightening. You know, express your truth even if it feels scary. It's funny because, like, if something bad happens, and you deal with it as it comes, you know what I mean? But more often than not, we find out if we're truthful with the people in our lives, we get good results. Even though the ego might try and shout up and be like, you should be worried about this, that, or the other. Don't express that, because you're gonna get a bad reaction. This is just the ego making assumptions based on past patterns. But if we change our pattern, you know, the results won't change, right? Actually, that's pretty sound, I would say. If you take a different action than you've taken every other time that you've run into a certain situation, you're bound to get a different result. And we need to not be scared anymore to receive whatever it is we've earned for ourselves. You know, what you send out is what you get back. And just to keep denying it won't help anything. You'll still keep getting what you send out, even if you act like that's not the truth. And so it's like, move forward from there. Okay, so I sent out things that got me a bad return. I'm gonna own that and move on from there now. With that knowing that what I send out is what I get back. So maybe now I'm just gonna be more wary of that and choose to send out universal love, not self-serving love, not, you know, I have something to gain out of this, and so I will offer what I have to share. No more of that, you know. Just gonna send for you people, and for myself, because I'm dealing with my own challenges and blockages. Like I said, there's some of us that ride the waves really smoothly, some of us that the waves are helping us unfold our purpose and clear the last of what we need to. You know, there's levels to that. I feel like I fall somewhere in that level, like a lot of us do. And, you know, that's the thing. Our challenges are gifts. They help us recover our wholeness. It doesn't feel like a gift when you don't recover your wholeness through it, but it's the universe is trying to gift. It is. Send love and be source, and know that you're one thing and everything all at once. Both experiences are true. One of them is bigger and more true than the other in a sense. I guess I shouldn't say it that way, but it's funny because it's like you think of the part of your higher self that is occupying your physical body as one little point of light compared to the vastness that we are. And so that everything is okay. Even if just outside of yourself it feels like it might not be, it is. Much love, folks.